New poll shows Governor Walker with a big lead in Iowa, an important first test in the 2016 presidential campaign. The Monmouth University poll of likely Republican caucus goers has Walker out in front at 22%, followed by billionaire businessman Donald Trump at 13%. We're several months out, about 6 months out from the Iowa caucuses, but Walker is spending a lot of time in the Hawkeye State. So what does this and other polls tell us about the race there right now? We're asking Jan Seltzer, who is president of Seltzer & Company, directs the Des Moines Register's Iowa poll. She's at our sister station, KCCI, in Des Moines. And Ann, it's good to have you with us. This is sort of the gold standard poll, I must say, in advance of our interview. So congratulations on that. Let me ask you about Iowa and the polling that has been done so far. Well, what is our takeaway at this stage? We're still 6 months out.
We are still 6 months out, but normally by this time we've got candidates with lots of offices around the state, lots of field staff knocking on doors, lots of things happening that haven't really started happening yet. What we have are candidate days, and Scott Walker indeed is spending a fair amount of time here.
Well, give us a sense of the numbers and how what kind of confidence we should place in them, because you have said in the past, Ann, that polling the Iowa caucus voter is very tricky. How so?
Yes. Well, if you showed it to me on paper and I'd never done it before, I would say it can't be done.
Really?
It's just so difficult because it's a very small group of people who show up, so you're hanging up on a large number of people just unqualified to be in your poll. You can register to vote on caucus night. You can change your party on caucus night. Things tend to develop relatively late. You can be 17 and participate in the caucuses as long as you're going to be 18 by the general election. So there are all sorts of ways that this is a squishy group of people to poll. Now, the additional trouble that we have this year is that we have 16 candidates, soon to be 18 candidates, and that's a lot of people to try to get a sense of really how the field is doing. I'll just say one more thing, and that is that Scott Walker has defied all of those problems so far in Iowa, that he's been leading and has led consistently since he gave a big speech in January and got a lot of national media attention.
I think, didn't you do a poll back in the early part of the year that reflected that after the speech that Walker was doing very well in the state?
Indeed, and that's the kind of launch that every candidate would wish for, to have a big moment where they sort of arise and people like what it is that they're saying. And then the question is, can you consistently keep making people confident in your leadership?
Give me a sense of the role that political polls play in this process. How important are they to these campaigns? I mean, we've got 16 folks in the race. Clearly, a poll can really make a big difference, especially if you're struggling a bit in the early stages of a campaign.
Well, that's exactly right. They're all going after the same money, and so that's a lot of candidates looking at the same list of donors and trying to get the money that they need to finance their campaign. And if you're at 0 or 1% in the polls, you're going to have a different kind of story. You're going to have to talk about your potential to grow beyond that. So what the early polls tell you is who is winning so far, who's getting the attention, who is getting people aligned with them. Does it predict what's going to happen on caucus night? Well, of course not. The candidates are going to come in and spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to change those poll numbers. But it does tell you right now who is getting traction, who is not getting traction. You know, if we didn't have a poll, we might not know that Donald Trump is getting traction. People might just write him off. The pundits want to. But our poll tells us you better pay attention to what's going on. He is tapping into something that is very real in the Republican electorate.
And I would imagine in some respects, Ann, that the polling right now is even more important because they did away with the straw poll, the famous Iowa straw poll this year. That doesn't exist. So that's one possibility for a candidate to achieve momentum that no longer exists.
Well, flawed though that event was, the most important thing a candidate can do is win something.
Yeah.
And so even though people would sort of, you know, brush that off, that was a purchased win, it still got some candidates some exposure that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
And for everyone who's waiting breathlessly for the next poll that you'll be doing for the Des Moines Register, your response is?
We don't tell.
All right.
That's a carefully guarded secret.
All right, Jan Seltzer, pollster who does polling, renowned polling for the Des Moines Register. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much for being with us.
Great to be with you.
Scott Walker's campaign manager Rick Wiley plays down Iowa as a must-win for Walker. He spoke at a WizPolitics.com luncheon last week, and you'll find audio and video of the event on the Walker Watch blog at WizPolitics.com. From must-win to must-see, the first Republican presidential debate is just 12 days away. I have some thoughts about it and Governor Walker's place in it. That's coming up next on Upfront.